Hello, Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point, your source for Kentucky news and analysis from a conservative, Christian, and common sense point of view. Well, been off the air for a few weeks, but now we are back, ready to get back to work, and just in time for October. This time of year, people going out and buying costumes. So if you really want to get a very scary costume this year, here's the one that I recommend. It's the Andy Beshear mask and costume. It comes complete with taxpayer-funded abortions, with Biden policies, record inflation, boys and girls sports, and much more. Much more things include decrees to close churches and throw Christians in jail, masking children who do not need masks, and the ever-popular promising to be the teacher's friend and then underfunding their pensions by $83 million. Yes, you can get your mask today. Now, some people say when I say things like this, they're like, hey, Mr. Watts, you're just insulting Andy Beshear. Well, that's not quite accurate. I'm not insulting Andy Beshear when I say these things. I'm describing Andy Beshear when I say these things. There's a difference between the two. Well, our election for our new governor for our state is going to be now about 30 days away, just a little over a month, really. And so we're going to look at this week in the campaign. Who is ahead? How are they doing right now? And why are they in these positions? Let's look at some of the things, first of all, that we are not seeing. I travel a lot across the state as I speak at different places. And one of the things I've noticed a grotesque lack of are signs for Daniel Cameron. I will see signs for Andy Beshear in different places. But if you want to find a Cameron sign, those things are few and far between. And I had a lot of people that are expressing, hey, I'm kind of concerned about this. Is this a sign of something? Well, let me explain what is going on and why it is about to change. Mitch McConnell. If you watch the program more than twice, you're going to find out I'm not a fan of Mitch McConnell. However, everybody has to agree he is good at one particular thing, and that is staying in office. He has proved he is exceptionally skilled at staying in office. He's won more campaigns than Joe Biden can count. And with that, the Cameron campaign is following a Mitch McConnell technique in the campaign. And that idea is you put your name out there, you do a little bit the months leading up, but you really hold back and don't give your big push and put signs out and do all the main stuff until 30 days before the election, because most people really aren't paying attention before that. So this is the technique they have gone with. So while we have not seen a lot of Cameron things across the state in the months leading up, I think you're about to see a massive change to that starting next week when we get to the 30-day mark before the election. So now Beshear campaign, they've been pushing kind of hard the entire time, and we'll see which one of these two techniques works out the best. Now, here's something else that I am not seeing as I travel across the state, and that is really signs or letters or a big push for all of the other Republican candidates that are running for other statewide offices. Because remember, in November, we're not going to be just electing a governor. We'll be electing a new attorney general, a new secretary of state, a new commissioner of agriculture, a state treasurer, these different statewide positions, also commissioner of agriculture. And I've not noticed the Republicans or really even the Democrats putting out advertisements in a great amount for anybody for these positions. And here's the reason for that. Republicans don't have to spend one red cent, and they're still going to win all of those races by hundreds of thousands of votes. So really, they're not spending the money, and they don't need to spend the money. So why spend it if you don't need to? Kentuckians have shown in the last few election cycles that they are rejecting the Democratic policies. They don't, for some reason, they don't like it. When you contrast these two different policies between the Democrats and the Republicans, let's talk about the state income tax. Democrats want to keep your state income tax. The Republicans have come out and said they want to get rid of the state income tax. The Democrats have said, listen, we really don't want you to have choices in your education. The Republicans have said, no, we want educational freedom. I personally am for a big proponent and supporter that the idea your tax money should follow your student instead of it automatically being funded to schools which are pushing the radical leftist agenda. Well, call me crazy. The Democrats are for putting boys in girls' sports and in girls' bathrooms. The Republicans are saying, no, there's a reason these sports are different, and the one gender is not the other gender. And if you say it is, then you're the one not following the science. And that would make you, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, a liar. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. The Republicans have said they are against these mutilation surgeries against children, while Andy Beshear and the Democrats are pushing for those mutilation surgeries. When it comes to election integrity, the Democrats on the left have said, oh, paper ballots and requiring a voter ID. These are racist things. How a piece of paper can be racist is beyond me. And the Republicans have said, listen, a lot of the conservatives have said, we don't like this idea of voting machines. Some people think you vote on a paper ballot, but what do you do then with that paper ballot? You put it into a machine, and we're again still using the machines for the voting, and we need to get away from that. By the way, I got 3 by the ways for you, by the way, which would make a 4th, by the way. The first one is over in Europe, they don't use these voting machines anymore. They realize they can be tampered with. If somebody can invent the security system, somebody can bypass the security system of that computer. So they use paper ballots to secure their elections. Here's the second by the way, if the left starts arresting people because they say, hey, we think the elections are rigged, that's kind of a good way to convince the people that, you know what, the elections are rigged. And as our final, just by the way, because you may not know it, today you sent Ukraine $223 million. Yes, if you average out how much money that the U.S. has said we're sending Ukraine, it averages out to $223 million every single day. And that's been every single day since February of last year. I want everybody to think about that as we go on. What really the Cameron campaign, if I were to give them some advice, this would be my advice to the Cameron campaign. You've only got about 30 some days left. You were planning on doing your big push then anyway. Do your big push. You need to get it out there because we have seen something really odd. Kentuckians voting in massive numbers for all the other offices. You'd think the same people would vote for a Republican at the head of the ticket. So that's just something I found very odd in last time's results. And really, a Cameron campaign, what you should do is you should run on Andy Beshear's accomplishments. Yes, it may seem odd, but you should run on what Andy Beshear has actually accomplished. What he has accomplished has been mortgage rates at Kentucky have doubled, fuel prices are up, food prices are up, health care costs are up, heating costs are up. And really now there are less Kentuckians working today than were working the day that Andy Beshear took control. So I would just run on all of his accomplishments because those are the kind of things that he's accomplished. So that's what we are seeing in the campaign right now, why we've not seen things ahead of time, why that's about to change in the next 30 days, and we'll see how that turns out. So as far as the idea goes is who is ahead in the campaign and in the election right now? This really comes down to the same thing as when somebody is ahead in a ball game. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all who is ahead during the ball game. All that matters is who's ahead after the game's over. And let's make sure everybody gets out there and votes. And if you're visiting from Georgia or Pennsylvania, just vote 2 or 3 times because that is our civic duty. I have been saying on the program each week where I'll be speaking at across the state in the coming week. So in this coming week on Monday, I will be speaking in Burlington, Kentucky. And if you could make it to any of these events, you would be most welcome. And Tuesday, I'll be speaking in Florence, Kentucky. And then on Wednesday, there's a television station called WBNA out of Louisville. And I'll be on their nightly newscast that night talking about some analysis of the upcoming elections. If you would like me to come out and speak to your group, your school, your church, or whatever, just send me an email with an invitation and we'll see if we can work that out. My email is lee.watts.kentucky@gmail.com. So until next week, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.